Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we're making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of ASAP in the Morning. It is your boy Pride. I hate moving, and whoever invented moving, I hope they wake up every morning with no hot water. Their toothpaste ran out, and they stubbed their toe. And just to add a little something on top, I hope when they make their bread, they put jam on it, and it falls jam first on the floor, and they run out of the milk. I'm joined by Dustin, Greg, T, and Jay. Dustin, how you feeling today?
Not too bad. I just want to wish John Lester a happy retirement, as he has announced his retirement from Major League Baseball late last night.
Shout out to John Lester, bro. I mean, he honestly, he a low-key legend. He a low-key legend, but he kind of has the Jonathan Papelbon effect, where, excuse my French, he's kind of a dick, so people don't really like him like that. So free him. Dustin, I know you have to dip early, and I know we kind of wanted to do a thing where you kind of gave us a stat. So why don't you drop it on us now?
So today's stat of the day: there's 50 states in the United States. 26 of the 50 states are occupied by at least one professional sports team in the four major professional sports leagues. Of those 26 states, 24 of them have witnessed their state win the championship in some sport. Can you name the only two states that have never watched their state win a championship? One should be obvious.
Hawaii and Alaska.
Well, they don't have a team to begin with.
That's what I'm saying. So
Oklahoma City should be the obvious one because they have the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's the only professional. Yeah. Can you name the other state that has four professional sports teams that neither of them have?
They got to have four professional. All right,
no, they don't have to have four. They just have to have one of the
four.
One professional sports team in the state. But there's one state that has never had any of their teams win the championship, and they have four professional teams in that state.
Don't tell me. You got to give it 60 seconds. You got to give it 60 seconds. All right.
Like we need to have Jeopardy music in the background right now.
No, we can't afford the royalties. We can't afford those royalties.
What is it?
So obviously one was Oklahoma City.
Yeah, I gave you the Oklahoma City one because that's the only.
Can we get a hint? How many teams does this state have
for professional?
You don't gotta tell us how many in each sport, just in general.
Oh, they got four. They have all four.
They do not have all four, but they have four professional teams.
But they got four professional teams. Okay, so it's not California. That's out.
No.
Okay, it's not Dallas. Or it can't be any of the Texas teams. So that's out. Can't be Florida. That's out. Can't be Boston. Can't be New York.
Is it Vegas?
Nope.
Oh, I was about to say no.
Yo, hold on.
Oh yeah, Vegas is included in that. Yep, so three teams.
Okay.
Yeah, Vegas and Oklahoma City are the two.
Where it was Vegas. Okay.
So yeah, Nevada and Oklahoma are the two that are obvious because they only have the one or two teams.
And it's crazy because my stupid self, for me, it's just so new that I eliminated Nevada. I don't know why.
Jay should know this because the state's close to him.
You said four sports teams.
They have four sports
won
teams.
A championship.
They have four professional sports teams in their state. None of them have won the championship yet.
Ouch, that's depressing.
Okay, so it's Louisiana. New Orleans has.
Wait, hold on, Dustin. Did you already say them?
Nope, I forgot about Nevada. So no.
So there's another one. Okay.
I thought it was over. No. Okay.
That's what I thought too.
We're back in, guys. We're back in.
All
Okay.
Right, hold on. All right. By the way, Ron, welcome.
So Vegas
Dustin
has three.
Yeah. So Dustin just gave us a little fact, right? We're trying to kind of guess it. So there are basically three states that has at least one team in one of the four major sports categories, and they've never won a championship. So Oklahoma's one of them. Nevada is another one, and we're trying to guess the third one. So
I got it.
Is it the Rangers?
Carolina.
Nope. Carolina Hurricanes won the Stanley Cup in 2006.
What in the world? What the hell? Yo, T, did you guess one?
I did. Is it? Does DC count?
No, because Washington D.C. has titles with the Capitals.
Arizona?
Nope. Diamondbacks.
No, didn't. Oh, yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
Damien said Michigan. That doesn't sound right.
Detroit Red Wings.
Oh my God, I hate my life.
That's what I would say the Texas Rangers.
No. It's a state.
That state's one
It's
of
an
them.
actual state.
Oh, Dallas. Okay. Oh,
It's an actual state. All right, hold on. I'm gonna guess one more.
This is the most I've thought all year. This is amazing.
Bro, what is this weird sensation? My head hurts. Oh my God. I never felt so stupid before. And I know the way Dustin is smiling, the answer's staring dead at us, bro.
Yeah, it's at us.
Because you're all in the same area. Now it's just
And Anthony Price, it's not Ohio because
It's gotta be Oklahoma.
No, he already said Oklahoma.
Oklahoma and Vegas I gave you because they only have the two teams in the one.
Yeah, so oh my God. I feel so dumb. Wow.
I don't know.
I'm tapping out.
Well, he said it's next to Texas, so it's got to be in Louisiana.
New Mexico.
Nope. It's close to Texas, just not in that direction.
What the hell you mean in that direction?
You're confused the
Listen, this is not Dumbledore. I don't know these muggle games that you're playing.
You guys give up?
Someone pass me a map. I need a map.
You guys give up?
Nope.
Hold on.
Map of the
Give us 30 seconds here. 30 seconds.
Does Arkansas have any teams?
Nope.
Right here. So you said it wasn't Texas, right?
Wasn't Texas, and it's not to the west of Texas.
Don't left or right, man. I don't know good compasses.
If you're looking at Texas, it would be to your right.
Missouri.
That's straight.
No, Chiefs and Royals.
Wait, Pride, are you using a map right now? I essentially did not use a map. Are we allowed to use a map?
I'm cheating.
Use the map if you want.
I'm cheating. Winner on cost.
Cheat code over here. Okay.
I'm up here looking at it now.
No, it's not Wisconsin. It's not Pittsburgh.
Utah.
Nope. Real Salt Lake has a MLS championship in 2000.
Oregon. It got to be Oregon.
Colorado.
Nope. Or Portland Timbers got one in Oregon. Denver Broncos got one in Colorado.
You said it was to the right of Texas. So how would it be?
I said if you're looking at Texas like Pride is, it would be to his right. So that would be to the east of Texas.
Oh, Tennessee.
You're going the wrong direction.
There you go, Tanny.
Tennessee.
Okay.
Memphis Grizzlies, Tennessee Titans, Nashville Predators, and Nashville FC Soccer. Neither one.
And Nashville came close, though. Nashville came close to getting one. They were in it. That one.
They got to the Stanley Cup final, but they never won it.
Do I give a speech now or do I hold off?
You can hold off.
You're gonna hold off because it's gonna go to. It's gonna end up turning into how Miami Heat is phenomenal. So
So you read my speech. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I did 100%. Wow, Tennessee. Wow, that
literally hurt my brain and killed 8 minutes.
Yeah, well, yeah, good. Yeah. I wish it would kill 15.
My head hurts.
Greg, how you feeling today?
I feel good. Pride. It's good to be on. I'm ready. I'm ready for this weekend.
Yes, sir. Ron, how you feeling?
I'm ready for the weekend too.
Listen, Ron's still recovering from bomb at the airport. He ain't fully back. He ain't fully there yet.
Oh my God, yo, T. I don't know if you were here, bro.
Wait, what happened?
Oh man, he was slandering DeMar DeRozan and the Bulls. Now, mind you, I'm not a Bulls fan, so I loved it because it was hot. It was spicy.
What did DeMar do to you?
I think they heard me because they went out last night, won by 50 points. So,
man, you ever seen an episode of Cheaters how they swarm in on that person? Everybody was swarming in on Ron, like he had just eaten it or something.
And T, I was loving it because he had Dustin saying stuff, bro. He almost had Dustin hyped up, and I was like, I was loving it. I was like, go ahead, Ron. I was like, pop off, kid. T, how you feeling today?
Honestly, too good, man. Ready for this playoff run. 4 games, and we should have that title.
Wow.
Yeah, I said it.
You know what? Live your life.
No, they won't.
Be great. We all know this for a fact. Kansas City won't win it. So I'll let you Jay McLovin, how you feeling today, bro?
I'm just ready for Dallas to show all of you mofos who the real deal is, man. I'm ready to end the drought of hell that's been going on since like in my early 20s.
It's kind of
time
funny
to get back some respect.
it's kind of funny because Dak Prescott, it's actually it's amazing just how much he can predict the future, right? He has this commercial, I think it's a Tempur-Pedic bed, because he knows he's going to be home. You feel me? And it's so crazy how he had this sixth sense and be able to be like, hey, guys, look, this is where I'm going to be in the playoffs because, you know, I'm not about that life. But again, supposedly, according to other people, Dak Prescott's a top 5 quarterback. Homie can't even count to 5. What are we doing here?
In Texas? So top 5 in Texas?
I mean,
whoever said
he's not even a top 5 quarterback on his own team.
That is
Get ready for that conversation. But I'm not getting into that because I don't want Jay McLovin to like throw something at the screen. So we're not going to talk about that. But we are going to talk about that. We're going to stay in the same division, the Washington football team, which somehow, some way makes themselves look dumber every single day. CEO Tanya Snyder, she confirmed that these were the 8 names that was left for them to pick that they're going to unveil on February 2nd. Armada, Presidents, Brigade, Red Hogs, Commanders, Red Wolves, one word because that matters, Defenders, and football team. I've never in my life seen a dumber list.
Can you repeat that one more time? I was looking for a good one, just paying attention, but I didn't catch one.
No. The best one is the last one, football team with no change. Somehow they're getting worse. So I'm going to read them again. These are the 8 legitimate final candidates for their new name. The Washington Armada, the Washington Presidents, the Washington Brigade, the Washington Red Hogs, 2 words, the Washington Commanders, the Washington Red Wolves, again, that's 1 word, the Washington Defenders, and the Washington football team, which I like now. I like the Washington football team now. So I don't know what is going on with that. Dustin, let me start with you. Do you like any of these names? You hate them? You think they should have something else? What's going through your mind?
I mean, honestly, they never should have left the Redskins name, but that's in the past now. I do have another name in mind that I'm surprised is not on this list, and the one that I thought they would take is the Washington Red Tails. And if you don't know,
that's the one I was really thinking.
Yep, and if for those that don't know what a red tail is, it was a World War II airplane that was used in World War II, and they actually they had the actual logo and everything designed. They would just have a plane, and then they would have the tail wing, the Washington colors with the yellow R in the tail wing. So they wouldn't have really had to do anything different. They could have kept the same color. They could have pretty much did the same thing. They would have had their trademark Washington R that they used for so long, and they just would have put it on the tail wing of the plane. I thought the Washington Red Tails would be the one they would use. But out of this list, I mean, the Defenders make sense because you have the DC Defenders from the XFL, but I believe they have a trademark on that, so I don't know if Washington can even use that name. But, I mean, as bad as it sounds, the Red Wolves do make sense because that was another World War II type of thing that was used during that time. So I think that one is the one they're most likely to use, if any of those.
Wasn't it just correct if I'm wrong, was Tuskegee Airmen, were they related or connected to the Red Tail airplane?
Which ones?
The Tuskegee Airmen. Weren't they connected?
Yeah, those are the pilots of the Red Tails, yeah.
Yeah, so that even makes even more collaborative sense to use that name. Just because of like how it connects with DC.
And then they were the pilots of those planes were called the Red Wolves, which is how that Red Wolves got brought into the mix with that. But that's why I don't know why they took the Red Tails out of the mix.
And real quick, someone says if you look at the video, the jersey had 3 stars the commander. Well, if you look at the receipts, they actually leaked it. They actually did like a receipt thing and actually says Washington Commanders on it, which I think is funny. I want to propose a new team name for all of you gentlemen, and let me know if I'm in the ballpark. I think there's only 2 correct answers. I think you either leave it at Washington football team, or if we're going to change it, we're going to change it then to the right direction. The Washington Emails. Are we all on board with that name? Because
that defense is gonna have so many leaks.
I mean, bro, let's be honest, bro. I mean, at this point, bro, their defense is leaking, their offense is leaking, the coaching is starting to leak. Like, Washington Emails, let's get it. Or am I out of pocket, T?
Hey, Pride, check your phone in a second. I'm actually sending you something from the Red Tails because they actually originally committed to the Red Tails name before they went back to Washington football team.
Imagine.
You know what? That's why you're the stat guy, Dustin. You literally just talked me into it. That actually makes tons of sense. As he was saying those names before, I was like, damn, this is really, really bad. Like, fire every marketing person ever.
And when you get the picture, Pride, you'll even see they keep the original like Redskins logo with it. And just basically just change everything up just to kind of get that Native American look off of it.
No, I think that makes complete sense. I am with the Red Tails, and I can't make a compelling argument for anything else. Some of these names just okay. All of those names that Pride named are just really, I don't want to say corny because it's too strong. Yes, it's corny.
No, they're corny. Come on, team.
Yeah,
let's not being nice.
I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to build up to it. Someone says I'm too aggressive, so I'm working on it. But yes, I'm with you on the Red Tails, bro.
I mean, Pride, can we change your team name to the New England Cheaters? You know what? That's fine. That's fine. Matter of fact, if you want to go that route, the New England Lombardi trophies. How many you got? Yeah, you feel me? You got Taylor Heine. Who? I got mac and cheese, homie. Come on. I got McCorkle. You feel me? Your guy's named after a girl. My guy has a name for himself. How many McCorkles you know? I know about 18 Taylors. I dated one. You don't know a McCorkle? I'm telling you this right now. When Mac Jones retires, we are going to have a brand new award, right? And we're going to name it the McCorkle Award. And it's just going to be it's going to be exemplary play on and off the field. And it's going to be more valuable than the MVP award. I don't care what anyone says. Ron, has Dustin convinced you? Is Red Tails the move, or are you kind of like, let's just burn the Washington football team, the entire organization, to the ground?
Yeah. Burn it to the ground. The names are cool. Washington Presidents. That one was just, I almost threw up in my mouth.
I mean, that was the baseball team name in the 20s and 30s. So I mean, it's not something they haven't used before.
But it's
wow.
We all make mistakes, though. We all make mistakes.
Washington Red Tails is an extremely cool name. So much backstory to it, but I don't even know if the Washington football team deserves it. But it sounds like this is what they're going to go with, especially if they were already considering it.
Look, man, I'm just here for the emails. That's what, bro. I'm just here for the emails. I'm not kidding, bro. I'm here for the emails because we've been waiting for so long. And like, think about it, bro. Imagine, right? All of a sudden, John Gruden gets fired. Now Sean Taylor's jersey wants to be retired, right? All that dies down. The Raiders still succeeding, and it's like, oh my God, they're succeeding in spite of what happened with John Gruden. Hold on. Washington football team. Oh, by the way, we're gonna change our name. Like, isn't it weird how they're waiting until right before the Super Bowl? It's almost as if they're trying to protect themselves in case the Raiders make it. Because if they make it, then they'll talk about John Gruden, which kind of leads back to the emails. I don't know, man. All I'm saying, bro, I don't care about the name. I don't care about it at all. You can call yourselves the Washingtons for all I care, brother. I want the emails. That's all I'm here for, bro. Jay, this is a division rival. This is a team that be shivering the Cowboys' timbers. Red Tails, is that the name to go with, or?
Yeah, hey, listen, when it comes to Washington irrelevance is what I'd probably prefer. But
the Washington irrelevance. Oh, I like it.
I think we got a winner.
Yeah,
I'm saying, bro, we got a winner.
I'm just saying, listen, they have been relevant since like back in the day when Doug Williams was coaching. Was quarterbacking. So, man, I really think if you're gonna give them a name, if they have to have an actual name, I like the one. I like the Red Tails just because I think it has more history. Look, DC is all about history, man. You can't go 20 blocks without running all kinds of just World War II monuments, and I mean it's just ridiculous. So why would you not connect that city with something of relevance? And let's be honest, DC has a very large African American population. So why would you not get their buy-in and tie it to something that has significance? Like the Red Tails. there, which is related to the Tuskegee Airmen. Why would you not correlate all of that in and get all of the buy-in? I mean, it's ridiculous. That's what I would. It just makes absolute sense.
And
almost too much sense for Washington.
If we're gonna be honest, I was about, damn, T, you stole my line. But nah, bro, it makes way too much sense. It really does, yo. It makes way too much sense for them. Like, and Greg, maybe we're all looking at this wrong. Instead of being generic and calling yourself something, oh yeah, the Washington Presidents, like, wouldn't it make more sense to go like Jay McLevin said? On your history, you guys have a lot of history with World War I. Why not just dive into that? So, I mean, the Red Tails, I still prefer, Washington relevance. I mean, that's like, if I can, I'm writing a notarized letter. But Greg, what name are you thinking of?
Man, Red Tails would have been perfect. Red Tails would have been perfect, but they're probably not going to do that one. So I think they should just stick with football team. Everybody's used to it now. At first it sounded weird and all that, and now you kind of get used to it. Say, oh, Washington football team. Like, so just stick with it. Commanders is an okay name. That was the only one that was kind of okay on that list. All the rest of them suck. So, but yeah, I think that should stick with a football team.
But you know what? But even one step further, from a marketing standpoint, like Dustin was saying, you can keep the same R. You don't even have to even change that. So everybody already associates that team with the R. So why not keep as much of that as possible?
Right, exactly, yeah.
You want to know why? I'm going to tell you why right now. I'm going to tell you why. Makes too much sense. Makes too much sense.
I think we should free Dan Snyder of his responsibilities.
No, we should keep Dan Snyder. We should. Nah. You know what we got to do with Dan Snyder? Nah, you know what we got to do with Dan Snyder? Well, let's let him, right? When the emails get released, we're not going to have Roger Goodell read them. We're not going to have a PR person or a lawyer read them. No, we're going to literally, it will be the Super Bowl halftime show. And we're just going to lower him, right? We're going to lower him from the heavens. And we're going to just put him on a podium, and he's going to read out. He's going to read out all the emails. Then we fire him. Then we take it away from him. Then we relieve him of his duties. Then, you know what I mean? Then we find new ownership. But I want him to read it. I really do. He never will, because him and Roger Goodell, they were with Robert Kraft when they were doing those Miami things. So, do with that information as you will. But I was not here on Monday, and it's kind of crazy. The one time I don't come, the NFL goes to complete and utter shambles. Brian Flores got fired simply for waking up. Wild to me. Joe Judge got fired, so that's something, right? Matt Nagy, he was relieved of his duties. If I'm not mistaken, I think Mike Zimmer was as well.
Yep. Along with the GM.
And Spielman.
Yes, and the GM. And if I'm not mistaken, for the Giants, Dave Gettleman, he knew he was gonna get fired, so he's like, "Yeah, I'm going out on top. I'm retiring." He was like, "I'm out." So he's out. There's rumors that Pete Carroll's probably gonna quit. Not even get fired. Like, he's actually gonna quit. Can I help you today? Okay. All right, Russ. Stop turning the ball over. My God, bro. Melo, stop missing threes. AD, get healthy. But with all that stuff being said, I want to swing it over to you, Dustin. Which do you think is the best NFL head coaching job, and which do you think is the worst?
In terms of the best, I would say Minnesota and Miami, because those are the two teams that are pretty much in position to contend right away with a new head coach. Miami was 9-8 this year, missed the playoffs basically by a half a game. Minnesota was 8-9, but there was countless games that they let get away where if things happen a certain different way, you're looking at possibly an 11, 12 win team, just depending on how things fall. In terms of the worst job, I think the Giants are the worst job because that franchise has no direction as to what they're doing right now. A lot of people are going to say Jacksonville's the worst job, which I can understand why. But Jacksonville at least has salary cap space next year where they can do a lot of things to improve that organization. The Giants have cap space, but not that much. They have a question at quarterback. They have a running back who can't stay healthy. And they have an organization that's been one of the worst organizations for the last decade. That's going to be a job where if you bring in a head coach, you better make sure that you can bring in the head coach that has thick skin, because whoever goes into that job is going to struggle just as much as Joe Judge, just as much as everybody else that's been there the last decade for at least a couple years.
That's an interesting way to look at it. Greg, do you agree with Dustin? Do you think there's one better? Do you think there's one worse? Or do you think he hit it on the head?
No, that was it. The Vikings are loaded. That's the best job that's open right now. The Giants, they are the worst. They are worse than the Jaguars because they have no quarterback. The quarterback they have now, Daniel Jones, he is not good. How he got the nickname Danny Dimes when you can't throw, I don't know.
Because he's worth 10 cents?
Stop. No.
Yeah.
I mean, look, bro.
Okay. All right.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Well,
That's funny.
in that sense, it makes sense. All right. So, but yeah, the Giants, that's just really bad. Whoever gets that job, they're going to have to be patient with that person. They're going to have to let Daniel Jones go, and they need to draft another quarterback because he is not the answer. But also that Denver job is also good, even though they don't have a quarterback.
They have everything else.
They have everything else. So the coach they bring in there, they get his input on, which quarterback he likes, and things like that. All of a sudden, Denver can be a playoff team next season. So Denver is also a good job.
Ron, I saw you kind of nodding your head when Greg brought up Denver. I'm assuming you believe Denver is one of, if not the best head coaching job out there?
Absolutely. I like the Minnesota one. Of course, like you said, Greg, them boys are loaded. Sky's the limit. I feel like Denver needs to go out and hire whoever Aaron Rodgers thinks is the greatest coach in the NFL. You saying you have a potential to land Aaron Rodgers if you get that Denver job as well. But do y'all really think Jacksonville is a bad gig? I mean, you got the first round pick. You know your direction at quarterback. I don't think that's such a bad place to land either.
I don't think it's a bad place. I think it's just going to be a challenging place if you're going to bring in a first-year head coach. If you bring in somebody that's done it before, I think it'd be a little bit different. But if you go after someone that hasn't coached before, I think that's like one of the two worst jobs to have, just because of the situation they were put in this year with Urban Meyer.
I think the quarterback position in Jacksonville is also very murky because there's a lot of development that still needs to go on there.
Right, and that's the thing. Like, I look at it the same way when the Lions hired Dan Campbell, right? Like, you're here for the long haul. We're not going to do anything, you know what I mean? Like, we're not really going anywhere. Can you build us a good culture, and can you help put us on the right direction? And I believe there's a lot of first-year head coaches who could do that, but I'll get into my whole soliloquy about that in a few. T, the best and worst NFL head coaching jobs right now.
Dustin, I don't know how you would look it up, but if you can, is this like the record for the most vacancies? Because I guess I'm throwing the Raiders in there too, because they're kind of up in number.
And if the Raiders and Texans get added to the list, it will be.
What's the current record?
7. They're tied with the record right now.
Oh, geez. Wow.
Just not Tully. I don't think the Texans are going anywhere right now.
Wait, say it again?
If the Raiders Tully, so I don't think they're going anywhere. And the Raiders just made the playoffs. I don't know, on an interim coach, which I think he almost should get to.
I think he will. I believe they're gonna sit down with him, and they're gonna say, "Listen, Rich, we want you to be our head coach. How do you feel about it?" If he says yes, you give it to him. If he says, "Look, it was fun. I'll still be here as an assistant, but I don't want to be a head coach," then they look.
Well, Pride, it also goes back to where we're talking about with the Washington football team. It makes too much sense, so we can't consider that to be a foregone conclusion.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, Raiders don't have the
Yeah,
best
for the
track
Raiders,
history of
yeah.
making
You got it,
it,
coach.
so,
You got it.
yeah. So it makes a little too much sense. But as far as the worst job, Giants, dude. I mean, I was just looking at that squad as you guys were talking. It's Saquon Barkley, well, half of Saquon because he's never healthy, and I'm just looking at the roster like, yeah, he was a cool receiver in college. That's awesome. That's cool. It just doesn't look good over there, and the media over there, like they catch you slipping with everything, dude. Every single, yeah. So that's a tough job in itself. So I would not want that Giants job. Obviously, I live in South Florida. Miami does look really good. That's why I was just shocked about that Brian Flores firing. He literally has the base for this team. They have picks for days. I think Deshaun Watson ends up over here. They just have it perfectly set up for whoever walks in. It's just like a turnkey operation, essentially. So I think Miami's literally.
But that's why they fired him, because he was upset with the organization because he did want Deshaun. And then you got to look at, if you go to Miami, you make a decision. I want Josh Herbert, not Tua. And they're going to be like, no, we're going to go with who we want you to pick.
And not only that, we also got to take into consideration how it was worded. They didn't say Miami. They just say they agreed to part. The Dolphins agreed to part ways with Brian Flores. When I read that at first, I was like, Miami, you're dumb. You're stupid, right? But not even like a few minutes after that, I think it was Zimmer who got fired. A few minutes after that. And they said the Minnesota Vikings have fired Mike Zimmer. And I said, hold on, time out. Let me look back at what they said about Brian Flores. At this point, I'm like 97% confident Brian Flores walked in that office and was like, F you, F you, F you, UI, F you, I'm out. And just stay face the organization, pretended to fire him. I'm like pretty confident that's what happened.
Wow.
Because that's the.
Well, there was definitely a disagreement of whether or not they should draft Deshaun Watson or not. Miami said no. Brian Flores wanted him. And I think that difference of opinion is what led to him obviously going. And that's probably when he did say, F you, yeah,
probably is.
F you too.
You know what I legitimately believe it also is? Let's be honest here. When he went to Miami, we forget about this. He didn't want to leave New England. Mm-hmm. We need to put that in context. He left because Miami said, look, you want to take over like Bill Belichick was? Who knows how long he's going to be there for? If you come to us now, we will give you the keys to the car, and this is your team. This is your roster. You can do what you want. And the instant he signed, they were like, oh, yeah, by the way, we forgot to put that clause in the contract. Whoopsie. And ever since then, Brian Flores has been at the mercy of the Miami Dolphins. So I think that's something we also kind of need to take into consideration to Jay's point. And I think, Dustin, you even said this. He wanted to go get Deshaun Watson. And the organization was like, yeah, we want him, but, you know.
Well, it's not only that. It's not only that either, Pride. When they drafted Tua last year, Flores didn't want to go with Tua. Flores wanted to stick with Ryan Fitzpatrick all year last year to make sure Tua was fully healthy, and ownership is what forced Tua into those games the second half of the season. Miami was 10-6 last year, but they were 3-3 with Tua and 7-3 with Ryan Fitzpatrick. They were a better team with Ryan Fitzpatrick, and there was countless games that Tua started where Fitzpatrick had to come in and bail him out for how poorly he played.
I think it was just Brian Flores and Miami ownership just didn't see eye to eye on much of anything. And I think that's just, honestly, that's what led to his demise. They just couldn't agree.
Because Flores never was sold on Tua from day one, and he was trying to make it known that it's not like I don't believe in him. It's that he just came off a hip surgery. We don't know what we're getting out of him this year, so why sit Ryan Fitzpatrick when he's playing well when you can just let him sit for a whole year behind Ryan Fitzpatrick and then go from there?
Do you guys think he gets one of these head coaching jobs that are open?
Chicago.
You say that comment, Tanny.
No, I mean, you know what?
Did you just make that? But I tell you what I do think.
Bro. You'd be surprised.
I think whatever job he takes, I wouldn't be surprised if he wanted in his contract that he has complete and total control, like McVay does, because he don't want another issue like Miami.
Because listen, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I think he goes to Chicago.
Ooh.
That's where I'm looking at. But
another place I think he'll consider, which is why I don't. But you know, I'm gonna get into that in a minute. Greg, best and worst, and then I'm gonna go on my whole thing. But Best head coaching job and worst head coaching job.
I didn't get to say mine.
Yeah.
You did?
I said
After Greg, I'll go back to
said
you.
his already.
I'll go back to you, Jay. I promise. Go ahead, Greg.
I said the Vikings was the best one, and
Right, I already came to you. Yeah, no,
yeah,
you're right.
was
My
the
bad.
worst, yeah.
Jay, go ahead.
The white man always gets overlooked. I get it, man. That's hard.
My bad.
Still going through his progressions, like he just misses everyone. Crazy.
Hey, listen, man. I agree there, but I think if I was to consider taking the Giants job, I would already have my game plan of what I expect from the team for me to be successful there. And I'm going to go in that interview and I'm going to lay out all of my expectations. And if they didn't come close to meeting them, then I'm saying peace out, deuces. With that being said, then I'm going to run over to Miami because I think with the cap space that they have available at $75 million, I can pretty much make whatever tweaks I want to make that team wherever I want to go. Whether bring in, somebody like Rodgers and hopefully maybe package it with Devontae Adams, that could bring that over. But I got more than enough cap space for that. That really is all I need. I think they got the defense. They have a good defense. They're 9-7. They're one Phil General away. Yeah, so I'm definitely taking Miami. That's the most attractive to me. I'm probably going to go with Denver at number 2 because I think Denver has all the right pieces as well. And I think that they have enough cap space where I could maybe make some tweaks left or right or bring in another quarterback. And then I'm probably going to wrap it up with Minnesota at the end because I think that they are, like you said, ready. But if I wanted to make some tweaks, they may not have enough cap space to tweak on the defense as much as I want. So I think I'm going to put it in that order: Miami, Denver, and then Minnesota at the end.
If Miami pulled that off with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, automatic title favorites.
Oh, absolutely.
No,
And the scary is they have the capital to do it.
As things
And
sit
I
right
think
now,
to bring
the salary
Devontae
cap-
Adams, that's definitely enough to bring Aaron Rodgers or at least entice him enough to bring him to come over there. I mean, it's a win-win for everybody, quite honestly.
As things sit right now, the salary cap is set at $208 million for next year. Miami's got $74 million in cap space, which is the most of anybody. Chargers are second with $69 million, and Jacksonville's third with $60 million. So Miami at $74 million has plenty to bring both Rodgers and Adams in, plus get another 1 or 2 players to help other positions of need.
Right. Which is where I'd probably concentrate that on the defensive side just to kind of shore up a few little spots over there. And I think I'm ready to go. Let's go, Coach.
So, for me, I'm gonna sound crazy here. Ron's going to punch his monitor because he already know. Him and I, we know friends. He don't rock him like that. But I don't think there is a single bad head coaching job right now. I don't even think the Giants are that bad.
The Giants are $9 million over the cap.
And you can get away with that, though. You can get away with that.
Pride, how would you do that with injuries, terrible quarterback, and no cap to bring in anybody? Unless you had the buy-in on your plan from ownership to where they would grant you what you needed in terms of, hey, look, this ain't going to be no overnight success.
Can I ask you a question, Jay? How are you already questioning what I'm saying before I even said 5 sentences?
Because the fact that you think that the Giants isn't bad,
I'm going to explain to you.
already. You're already suspect, Brian.
I'm going to explain.
You're already suspect.
I'm going to explain to you.
Suspect with the Bulls.
I'm going to explain. And you're suspect for being a Cowboys fan, but here you are. I'm going to explain to you because once you hear it, you listen. It's not really that bad of a job. You just need a specific individual, and what I mean by a specific individual. You need someone who wants to deal with not only head coaching, but also general manager. You need somebody who could fill both sides and somebody who will immediately trade Saquon Barkley, immediately trade Kenny Golladay, and immediately trade Daniel Jones. You need to immediately get rid of those 3 guys off the rip because this team, they gave it an opportunity. They gave it a shot. There were some expectations for them to at least be a wild card team heading into this year, and they've done every single thing. And you can go ahead and look at it like that. This was looked like to be a wild card team. This really was. This was a wild card team. Nobody expected the Eagles to be where they were. Let's be honest here, because when everyone was looking at this division, Philly was always 4th, always. And the Phillies are where the Giants were supposed to be, a wild card team. Who, okay, they made it. They got something to build off. Congratulations. The problem with the Giants was that they never wanted to make the right moves. If you get a guy like a Brian Flores who wants to make the proper moves and is patient, he'll go in there and say, you know what, we get rid of these 3 dudes and we're starting from scratch. The Giants have been ducking a full-blown rebuild for the longest, and I do not know why. I don't know why. It makes zero sense. Like, they still believe, oh, yeah, we're a couple pieces away. You're like, bro, like, you're not a couple pieces away. You know what I mean? Like, you're not Chicago, where, you know, if they had a different head coach, you know, they'd be way ahead of where they are, and now you give them a couple pieces, now we're looking differently. That's not really what it is. This is a situation where, like, they need to enter a full-blown rebuild. They need to get rid of everybody and their mother, and they just need to just say, okay, whatever, we're gonna come here, we're gonna hit up, we're gonna go see what we can do in terms of the draft. Let's go, you know, get a couple vets to try to establish some kind of culture, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't think it's that bad. It's a bad job if the next head coach is forced to keep Kenny Golladay, Saquon Barkley, and Daniel Jones. I think okay, sure, it would be that. But I don't think that will be the problem. I don't think that's going to be a problem because you've now gotten rid of the head coach and the GM retired, right? So now you're going to have a new guy in there with a fresh new perspective. There's no way the next guy in there is going to say, yeah, let's continue to run it back with these guys. All right. Like, I don't see that in any realm of possibility. I really don't. Like, I don't know any GM who's going to go into that job and the first thing they're going to do is, all right, so Kenny Golladay, have a seat next to me. Saquon, have a seat next to me. Daniel Jones, sit right here. All right, these 3 are untouchable. Do whatever you want with everybody else. Like, nah, bro. You know what I mean? Especially considering, why would you pay Kenny Golladay a badonk zillion dollars and then use a first-round pick on Tony? Because they picked up a wide receiver in the draft, right? That makes no sense. So why do that, right? Especially when, again, you're not in a win-now situation.
I was actually just looking at their salaries too. They're super top heavy. Like, you have Sterling Shepard and Kelly Golladay making some of the most money on the team.
And that's why I'm saying,
it doesn't make any sense.
And that's why I'm saying I don't think it's that bad. It's just the first thing they need to do there is get rid of a lot of the top heavy guys. That, let's be honest, a lot of your top heavy guys are, frankly, they're in the prime of their careers.
You can say garbage.
No, I'm not saying no. I don't think Kenny Galladay's garbage.
I'll say it for you if you need help. I got
you. No. I don't think he's garbage. He has a problem staying healthy. I like Sterling Shepard. I really do. But it's just, you need to put them in a situation where they're going to win now. The Giants are nowhere near winning now. So that's why I don't think this is really that bad of a job. I don't think so. Because I think whatever coach comes in and sits down, they're going to ask them. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a question on every single interview. What's the first moves you make? And I'm pretty sure most of the head coaches are going to say, Saquon got to go, Kenny Golladay got to go. If you want to give Daniel Jones one more year, he's on a cheap deal, so sure, I guess if you want to be that guy, I mean, whatever, it's cheap, you know? And on top of that, let's be fair, it's not like the QBs in this upcoming draft class are good now. It's not like they're all going to, you know what I mean? You're not really going to be able to get better. If anything, you'll take a sidestep at best. You know what I mean? Unless you go get a Russell Wilson. But outside of that, like, again, Russell Wilson's not going to want to go to a place where they're like, they don't know what they're doing right now. So it all comes down to the instant you put a guy like Brian Flores in there.
Right. I think you would kill it like working in an unemployment office, you know, one of those job placement people that can make any job sound good.
But see, am I wrong though? Am I wrong?
No, I mean, you sold me on it. That's why I'm shocked. I'm like, maybe it's not so bad.
Job isn't, it's not that bad.
Isn't that bad. I mean,
it's not. You got a mask and you got gloves. The germs won't touch you, so you're fine. So I don't think it's that bad. I just think the next head coach, like whoever their head coach is, I think 90% of them are going to say, we got to start cleaning house.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, of course.
So again, if you're gonna clean house, what does that mean? That means you're gonna trade some players, right? So that's gonna save on cap space, correct? And when you trade some of those players, you're gonna have to get something in return, correct? Now you can either get a cheaper player, right? But again, we gotta make the books bounce. So now you can get draft picks. Wait a minute, if you're a rebuilding team, you want to get better through youth, and the youngest players you can get is through the draft. Oh my God, I just saw the New York Giants. And I'm not even a GM, bro.
But that would have to include getting rid of Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is not good.
Well, you don't have to necessarily get rid of him because he's on a cheap deal, and this is his last year anyway.
Yep.
That's what I was saying. So when you go to the interview process, you're gonna, like you said, you're gonna present that because you would have to clean house. That's what I'm saying because you don't have cap space, so you got to clean house in order to get better. So you have to get the New York Giants ownership to agree to that, and if they agree to that, then like I said, you take that job. But if they look at you sideways, then I think you get the hell out of there.
But that's what I'm saying. Like the head coach they're gonna have to say that before, because I'm pretty sure one of the first questions they're gonna ask any potential head coach. What do you think about this? Where do you think we should go from here? And the first two names they're going to want to trade is Kenny Golladay and Saquon Barkley. Let's be fair here. Yeah. Let's be fair. And by the way, Anthony Bryce says you have to think about it. Nobody wants to trade on for a player to take on that money. Plus, you're over $9 million if you release and you dig a bigger hole for yourself. Well, not necessarily, because some of these guys have like trade kickbacks. You can make some deals with the team where when you trade them, they're willing to take on some of that price. Let's be fair here. If an injured Christian McCaffrey, if someone's still willing to take on his contract, let's be fair here. If they're still willing to take on an injured Saquon, let's be fair here. I think that's just how I'm looking at it. And again, if like let's say you're playing a guy at $10 million a year, right? And let's say you go and because again, you don't got to clear up your cap space. You don't got to clear it out immensely. It's not like we're clearing it out so next year you can go get Aaron Rodgers. So next year you can go trade for Deshaun Watson and give him a mega deal. No, you need to clear it now. So that way when you do need it in 4 or 5 years from now while you're rebuilding, you now have those funds. Now you have everything and now you're set. You already did a full-blown rebuild. By the time you're ready to start doing something, a lot of the guys that you had are now gone. You have a new face, you have a new culture, you have a new establishment. Everything now runs differently from how you did 5 years ago. So now we got the cap space, we got the game plan, we got the coaching, and we got the support from the office. Now, boom, we hit the ground running. Is this a team that you're gonna take overnight? No, this isn't a team that you're gonna flip overnight. This is a team that's gonna take time. And you're gonna go through your bumps, but I don't think it's bad at all. I don't think so.
In the background, I'm watching this show where they're flipping houses, like really torn up houses. Like, how fitting is this conversation right now? That's crazy.
But again,
you gotta hope that rebuild works too. That you don't run into any kind of snags or snafus in the rebuild process.
Well, you will. Well, okay, but again, you can.
Really, what I'm saying is injuries. I mean, there's no.
You can say the same thing about Jacksonville. You can say the same thing about Jacksonville.
Oh no, Jacksonville. Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? Trevor Lawrence tears ACL. Now the rebuild's over.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of why I'm looking at it. Like at this point, just lose. The Giants are good at losing. Like, let's be fair. You're good at losing. You might as well lose for cheap. Can I ask you a question? Let me ask you, gentlemen, of you fine, intelligent gentlemen, right? I'm gonna call you all young men. I'm gonna call all you guys young, educated gentlemen. Let's say T, don't go like that. You're you're referring that to me. Okay, no, I'm there with you. Let me ask you a question. You guys own a business, right? You guys just have one position left. It's just a random position. You just want it filled. That's it, right? You hire me, right? I'm okay. I'm all right. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm about a 6. You know what I mean? I'm solid, There's better, but there's also worse. You can do the job. Are you going to start me at 20 an hour? Or are you going to say, look, man, I like you, bro. I'll give you 13 and let's see where we go from here. So you're going to start low, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about. The Giants. You're paying these dudes, and you know they're solid, but you're paying them how much money for what? And again, they're solid when they can perform. I like Saquon. Homeboy kid. Come on, son. He got all those muscle on his thighs for what? For what? Come on, bro. My guy got Hulk thighs. And yeah, he's got the fragility of freaking Bruce Banner, bro. Like, what are we doing here, son? Bruce Banner gets a paper cut and all of a sudden he can't turn to the Hulk. What are we doing here? You got Kenny Galladay, who when they imported him, all of a sudden, homeboy talking about, I'm hurt. I can't play. I can't do it. Can you play? Yeah, let me step. My neck, my back. Like, he looking like me after I flipped my car 15 times. And y'all paying them these top dollars for what? For what? You guys are horrible. Your O-line is dog water. Your defensive line, at best, you got James Bradbury. And then after that, who? They play with no emotion. Every time they give up a touchdown, they're like, yo, you can score a field goal in the first quarter, and the Giants are like, well, they won the game. We tried so hard. You got to just clean house. That's what I'm saying. I don't think this is a bad job. I don't think so. I don't think it's that bad of a job because, like I said, now that they got rid of the GM, that's the opening you need. So now they're willing to listen to an experienced head coach. They're willing to listen to somebody like Brian Flores. If Brian Flores goes in there right now and says, all right, look, here's what we're going to do. We get rid of Galladay. We might keep Daniel Jones. Let me talk to him. Let me see how I feel about him. We're going to get rid of Saquon. Evan Ingram, we're going to cut him. We're going to trade James Bradbury. We are going to be losers. We're going to look like the Cleveland Cleveland Browns. What was it? 25th?
2021?
No. When they went 0-16. It's before Baker. Yeah, they went over.
Did they go over or was it Detroit? Did they both go over?
No. Cleveland went over.
They went over.
Recent?
Yeah, it was right before they got Baker. If I'm not mistaken, they went over and then they went 1-16 or 1-15.
Damn, Baker made me forget.
Yeah.
I completely forgot the Browns. You're right.
That was what's his name, coach, and I forget his name.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like that's what the Giants should be doing. For the next 3 years, they should get the first round pick. Or the number one overall pick. For the next 3 years straight, they need to get the number one overall pick.
They should just trust the process.
No. And the difference is because what we're doing in New York, right? You're going to get those guys, and then you're actually going to respect them and keep them. Okay? You're not going to have one of your best guys fumble the bag, have 8 turnovers, and then look at completely pathetic defensively. We're not going to have another guy miss 2 crucial free throws. We're not going to, you know what I mean? We're not going to bash our dude for no reason whatsoever. You know what I mean? So
New York is rough, dude.
Rebuild. So let me ask y'all a question. Have I convinced you that the New York Giants job, now again, hear me. I'm not saying it's the best. I'm not making that argument. I'm not saying it's the best. Have I at least convinced you that, you know what? It's at least passable.
I'm going to be the best janitor in the world, Pride.
No, hey, listen, it's still the worst. Hey, it's still the worst job because it's going to take an incredible amount of work that may or may not pay off. There's too much work and there's too much unknown for you to tell me that that's the kind of job I want to go to.
No, but listen, you're saying it's the worst compared to the other jobs, which again, I agree with you there. I'm just talking about in and of itself and by the way, you know what else is a headache? The Jacksonville Jaguars. That's also a headache, yet nobody wants to talk about that and still think it's a top job.
I don't think there's quite as much work, though, to do with the Jacksonville Jaguars as there is to do with the Giants because you have cap space, you have lots to work with.
Jags have?
There's way more to work with in Jacksonville than there is. You know what? Let me tell you something. Let me put it like this.
You got more
No, stop. Let me put it like this. I go to a car dealership. Stop this. I go to a car dealership. I got a brand new car. It's not working out quite so well.
So the Jags are a brand new car.
Time out. But I just bought the car. So I'm completely upside down. And are you going to tell me you're going to try to take it to a dealership and trade that car in, they're going to let you think you're crazy. Because it's the worst damn thing ever. It's the worst damn thing ever. And you cannot get up from underneath that damn thing until you pay it off.
Let me ask you a question.
That's how the Giants' job is.
It's the worst job ever. Brand new car.
It's the worst job.
They're a leased car. It's been leased.
Listen. Is the Giants' job worse than the Jags? Yes, it is. I'm not saying that.
The Giants' job is the worst job, period.
Hold on. The job in and of itself is not a bad job. It's not a bad job in and of itself. If the Giants kept Dave Gettleman, it's horrible. It's bad. Don't get it twisted. It's bad. They fired. No, he retired, but I'm going to say fired because he knew he was gone.
A mutual retirement.
Yes. Dave Gettleman is gone, and he was the reason that they were banging their heads into the wall and bleeding, and then literally go to the hospital saying, look, doc, I was banging my head on the wall. I got this nasty gash, and I'm bleeding. I got a pounding headache, but I don't know why. Like, Dave Gettleman was that problem. He's gone. Does that not mean anything?
You're right, but the Giants' progress is still on layaway until they can move the pieces.
And
your progress is on layaway. Your progress is stunted until you can clear up the cap space. Until you clear up cap space, all you can work with is what you have and what you can get to the draft.
You don't need cap space if you're a loser.
Taking that Giants job sounds like every 90s troubled school student situation every movie in the 90s. I'm like, oh.
No, listen, like for all the cap space talk, you only need cap space if you have a future, right? Now, the Giants don't have a future because the two guys who are supposed to be leading them into the future are now gone, right? So now
you just said it, Pride. You just made your own argument. Listen, if they don't have a future because of those issues, how could that ever be the best job available, or not be the worst job available? Jay, it is absolutely the worst job available.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. How does it feel to run headfirst into the point and still miss it? The reason is
you tell me because you're the one who ran into it.
The reason why the Giants not having a future is great is because as the head coach, you dictate and control the future. When you go in there, it is now, I don't have to battle with somebody. I don't have to go to somebody every single week and convince them. No, it is my job to pave the road and lead us into the future. That is my job. And most head coaches, when they go into an interview, they have not a full-blown plan, but they have the rough outline of a plan. So if a team asks them, what would be your first move? This would be my first move. A, B, and C. These would be my first moves. And then this is my overall goal. I want to lead us. It's going to take a few years, but I want to get into the playoffs. And after that, build from there, right?
Yeah, and the variable there is it only turns out to be a good job if you get the buy-in of ownership and the new GM that comes in to replace Gettleman. If you like I said at the beginning, if you get the ownership's buy-in on your plan, and if you get the GM buy-in on your plan, then it turns out to be good because now you have something to work with. But if you don't get their buy-in or you don't get it in writing, and ownership or GM management starts to change their position midway through,
so you're telling me that they're going to. So you're telling me the GM is going to leave and they're still going to do the same thing.
I'm saying you have to get the buy-in on that plan. If you get the buy-in, then you know you're in a good spot because you can do what you need to do.
Buy-in because they fired the GM who was making the plans the entire time.
No shit, guy. No shit, guy. We're past that. I'm saying when they bring in the new GM, because you're going to bring in the new GM before they hire the coach. So if you and the new GM are on the same plan, then you should be good.
I don't think so. If I'm the Giants, the first person I'm calling is Brian Flores. Maybe Doug Peterson. Maybe
to Pride's point, though, the Giants' job comes with the least amount of pressure. Because they are the furthest team of all the openings from contending. Every other job opening, you're either going to be expected to contend right away, like Miami and Minnesota, and Denver.
I think 2 years.
I think those are like the three. Miami, Denver, Minnesota. I think are going to be like the three jobs where they expect you to contend the soonest. Bears and Jacksonville are going to be kind of in that line right after that, where Jacksonville has cap space and they expected to do better this year with Meyer than they did. Same thing with the Bears. They know they have the pieces in place to do well They just need that right voice to kind of nudge them forward. Versus the Giants, you take that Giants job, no one's going to expect anything out of you for 3 to 4 years. And like Pride said, you get a GM and you get a new head coach. Now you have 3 or 4 years to put your plan in place to make the direction you want to take that team.
I'll tell you what, though. Hey, but if they hire me as a head coach before they hire a GM, I'm damn sure going to make that the ownership gives me a writing what they agree to. Yeah, because what they bring a GM who maybe you don't see eye to eye with, and then he tries to screw you over, I'm going to be like, nah, because ownership done said that I get control of all this.
But again,
but
again, if you get a guy like Brian Flores who wants to wear both hats,
and maybe, okay, that's great. Okay, if he wants to take the GM spot, well, okay.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like like that's what they need. Like, because again, let me ask you a question.
I don't know if that's process. Has there ever been a successful GM coach?
Mike Holmgren.
And I'm asking. I don't know. I'm asking.
Mike Holmgren did it for a while.
Okay, Holmgren. And I was thinking he was, and I don't follow Green Bay like that as much.
No, he did it when he was in Seattle. He got Seattle to the Super Bowl as coach.
I think I'm crazy.
Hold
on.
And I think Steve Mariucci did it. I think Steve Mariucci did it in Detroit for a while when he had Detroit playing well too.
But Steve Mariucci never got a Super Bowl with those guys.
No, but he still got him to like the playoffs though multiple times as the coach and GM, and he at least had him consistent. But I think Holmgren is one of the few people that did the coach GM route and got him to the
Super Bowl. Okay.
And he did that with Matt Hasselbeck and Sean Alexander and all those.
So I just Googled something because I'm listening. When it comes to sports, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. Did you guys know Bill Belichick is the GM and head coach of the New England Patriots?
I was just about to say that too. I was like, wait, are we skipping?
Did you guys know that?
We're skipping Bill Belichick.
I was like, wait, hold on.
Interesting.
Yeah, he was the best ever.
Hey, Pride. Take these numbers and subtract 2.
15.
Oh, number 1. Yeah. Look, this is all I'm saying. I'm not saying that the Giants' job is the best. I'm not saying it's the easiest. I just don't think it's as bad. Like, it's bad when you compare it to the others. I get it. But on its own merit, standalone, you have 4 years to establish something. Mm-hmm. And then that's when the clock starts ticking. And then you probably have another 3 to 5 years before anyone starts looking at you funny. You know what I mean?
Okay, Pride. So what if Brian Flores, he says, okay, day 1, I want Daniel Jones out.
Yep.
Are the Giants going to be like, oh, no, we ain't going to hire you because you want Daniel Jones out, or are they going to let him?
They have no choice. The Giants are going to be in this. Again, the Giants are in this awkward position where you just fired your head coach. Your GM saw the writing on the wall, so he split before you guys could do anything about it. Mm-hmm. With all that stuff happening, the next head coach, they almost have no choice but to look at him and say, all right, man, boom, here it is. And by the way, someone said, Pride, would you take a job and sub for 4 years, or do you want to win now? How much money am I getting?
It's an NFL head coaching job.
Exactly. Not only the money. Here's my thing. Not only is it the money, because obviously does everyone want to win now? Yes, of course. Let's not get it twisted, right? But let's not pretend that if you go to the Jags, you're winning now. Let's not act like if you go to Chicago, you're winning now. Let's not act like if you go to the Broncos, to the Vikings, you're winning now. And I will say this: if the Broncos get Aaron Rodgers, it's still not a guarantee. Even if Aaron Rodgers gets Devontae Adams, and
it's a better guarantee, but it's still not.
It's a better. Your odds increase tremendously, but I'm not going to go as far as saying that it's a definite. I'm not going to say that.
And I think that right there is why I think Brian Flores goes to Denver, if anywhere, just because of John Elway being there and the GM they have right now. They're going to listen to Brian Flores if he wants to bring in Rodgers or if he wants to bring in Deshaun Watson, just because what's Denver's main problem been the last 10 years? They haven't had a consistent quarterback after Peyton Manning. So if Brian Flores wants Watson or if he wants him to go get Rodgers, you know damn well they're going to do what it takes to get one of those two in there to give them that quarterback. As far as the Giants go, I think Brian DeBole is the perfect fit for the Giants for one reason. He changed Josh Allen. Josh Allen was terrible his rookie year. And then Brian DeBole goes there, and now look at what Josh Allen has become with Brian DeBole. Give Brian DeBole 1 year to work with Daniel Jones. and see if he can figure something out with Daniel Jones. I'm not expecting Daniel Jones to be Josh Allen 2.0, but Daniel Jones plays very similar to Josh Allen. He can run and he can make throws if he has like weapons around him. I think Brian DeBoll with 1 year of Daniel Jones can at least unlock some of that potential to maybe get the Giants to think, well, maybe we still have something in Daniel Jones now that we have Brian DeBoll who actually knows what he's doing, to kind of nudge Daniel Jones forward and be like, hey, I'm here. I worked with Josh Allen. Josh Allen went through the same struggles you went through. Granted, it wasn't a 3-year struggle, but Joe Judge wasn't going to help him, and Jason Garrett wasn't going to help him. So get a guy like Brian DeBoll in there who has coached a quarterback similar to Daniel Jones and who has turned his career around, and see what happens.
And by the way, real quick, any team can turn it around quickly. Super Bowl, no. Competitive, yes. So as in Jacksonville turned it around. Chicago hasn't turned it around. Give me another team that hasn't turned it around yet. The Dolphins haven't turned it around yet. The Rams, they're starting to, but they were kind of in limbo for a while. Let's see. What other team hasn't turned it around? So to sit here and say any team can turn around quickly, no. And just because you make the playoffs doesn't mean you're competitive. The Eagles made the playoff. They made the playoffs. Are they competitive? Let's be fair here. Let's be fair.
Don't jinx the squad now. Don't jinx this. Don't jinx this. Let's wait till Sunday to say that.
See, come on now.
I don't want to. Everyone's saying the Bucks. So I'm getting nervous. I'm like, I don't like this much attention right now.
No, I don't like those things like, oh yeah, any team could turn it around. All right, so then how come there are certain teams that are legitimate contenders, and every other team who makes moves are a playoff team at best? Giants made all these moves, didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah. You gotta look. In order to win in the NFL, you gotta have a GM that knows what they're doing, and you gotta have a top 10 or top 15 quarterback to even get in the playoffs and make noise. Giants didn't have neither one.
And the right play caller at coach.
Yep. And the Giants plan to interview Buffalo Bills assistant GM this week, which is kind of why I brought Brian DeBoll into the equation, because if the Bills assistant GM gets that Giants job,
then Brian DeBoll's getting that job. Let's just be
exactly, fair. And that's kind of why
that's just a super highway.
That's why I tied in the Josh Allen thing, because we've seen how much Josh Allen has improved in a couple of years under Brian DeBoll. I'm just curious to see what he can do with Daniel Jones, considering how they have a similar skill set. Just
he's not going to be able to do much though. Because think about it, it's only one more year. This is his last year of his contract, and after that.
But he's got the 5th-year player option, though. If you get something out of him next year and all of a sudden the Giants go like 7-10, but Daniel Jones looks dramatically better, they're going to give him that 5th-year option to see if they can build off of that. I think they would. And if they don't, then that at least gives DeBoll a chance to draft a quarterback and sit him 1 year behind Daniel Jones and then go from there.
The good thing about Daniel Jones is it's cheap.
Mm-hmm. I think he's getting paid like $3 million this year, and then next year if they pick up that 5th-year option, it goes to like 5.5.
Yeah,
which
like
is 5.
Yeah, it's bad. Basically, each year each year is under $6 million each year. So again, and Greg, I know you're not the biggest fan of Daniel Jones, but let's be fair here. There's probably not a better option out there. You know what I mean? Obviously, you got Aaron Rodgers out there, you got Russ out there, but outside of that. You know what I mean? For all we know, Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers made it known, I'm willing to stay in Green Bay if they give me that 3 to 5 year deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He made that known. Maybe Russ pulls a Damian Lillard and wants to be loyal, and then he don't want to go. You know what I mean? So now you're kind of stuck in this awkward position where it's like, gotta wait for Deshaun Watson stuff to get situated first. And then obviously when that gets figured out, a lot of people believe that Miami Dolphins is the front runner. So now the 4th best available quarterback is who? Ben Roethlisberger, because if he wants to play next year?
No.
So it's like that's your next best guy. It's like if I'm the Giants, I'm not winning now.
Right.
All right. Yeah.
So it's like I might as well keep Daniel Jones just for him to kind of be that, bridge guy. Like Dustin said, maybe I'll be able to go get, another quarterback out there. Maybe I'll be able to trade for somebody. Maybe something happens where, Tua becomes available and we'll get him and see if we can build with him. Or, you know what I mean? It's like a whole bunch of stuff, but I don't know, man. I don't think this Giants I don't think the Giants job is as bad as people think it is.
And people fail to forget the Giants were 4-6 at one point this year. they actually were not in a bad position. And then Daniel Jones got hurt, and after that, it was all downhill after that. The Giants were playing fairly well the middle part of the season when they were 4-6. And Daniel Jones actually started to look like a legitimate quarterback at that point, which is why they won 3 of 4 games during that stretch. But then once he hurt his neck and they had to go with Jake Fromm and Mike Glennon and all these other people, you knew the season was over at that point. And even if Daniel Jones came back, they weren't going to start him anyways because they lost 7 of 8.
Right. So they were kind of screwed anyway. So,
Yeah.
Again, I'm not saying it's the Chicago Bears' job. I'm not saying it's Jacksonville. I'm not saying any of that. All I'm saying, the job is not as bad as it seems. It's really not.
And it's New York. You're gonna get paid.
Well,
and you're in a huge market, so you know it's gonna be the center of attention. So yeah, it's not a bad gig in terms of that. It's just a bad gig in terms of where they are compared to where
it's gonna be work. Let's just be fair here. It's gonna be work. And it's gonna be a lot of work, right? Like, let's just get that out the way. This isn't a job like a Pete Carroll will come and take.
And that's why I don't see Flores going there, because he had to go through so much work in Miami.
The reason why I think Flores might go there was because with all that work in Miami, sure, but we got to take into consideration, like we said earlier, Dustin, Miami, they promised him, they sold them on a bill of fake goods, bro. Like, they told him you were gonna be that guy. If he goes to the Giants and the Giants give him the opportunity, maybe we'll see how it goes.
I just don't think he wants to go through all that work again. I think he wants to go to somewhere where
I think he wouldn't mind. I don't think he would mind. Well, I mean, for all we know, that could. Maybe you're right, Dustin. It is possible that he's like, look, man, I did all this stuff for Miami.
That's why going to like Denver is something where he'd only have to really do work for 1 year and then kind of have everything situated after that. I don't think he wants to go through a lengthy, let's rebuild this team for the next 3 years and then see where I'm at after that.
Right. So, question for you, Jay. Says the Cowboys are over $14 million in cap space. Who do you think is leaving? Do you think anyone leaves? Like, where do you think Dallas is going with their cap space situation?
I don't know that Jerry Jones is really going to break up lose any key pieces. If he loses anything, he's going to get rid of the, maybe some of the minor type players. But I think all your main guys are going to stay. I think he may look at possibly letting go of Gallup. If anybody goes, I think Gallup goes because of that. Number one, he tore his ACL, and I really don't know how much impact that. He's got quite a few options at wide receiver, so I think Gallup can be kind of indispensable if they need to clear up that kind of cap space. I would go with Gallup possibly.
By the way, I'm gonna get hate for this. I think Lionel Messi is the best. I think Ronaldo's right behind him. I like Neymar, but I don't top 5. I don't have him there. I have him in the top 10. I do. I like Robert. I never in my life knew how to pronounce his last name.
Which one, Robert Lewandowski?
Yes. I like Robert for me, and people get mad at me for saying this. I think he's the 3rd best player on the planet. People usually put Neymar 3rd.
I put Neymar 4th or 5th on that list.
Really? I got him outside.
I think Messi is the best overall player on that list. I think Ronaldo is the best scorer on that list.
Yes.
And
I'm there with you.
And then Zlatan Ibrahimovic is just the best for a marketing standpoint.
Yeah.
Look what happened when he came to the MLS. The moment he got to LA, ratings went through the roof because everyone wanted to watch Zlatan play. And that's kind of what.
And again, when he would come out and talk too, like, we also got to take that into consideration. When he was talking, and it wasn't just like the humble. Like, if you ever listen to Zlatan speak in any way, shape, or form, he's confident.
He's got such a deep monotone voice; it's scary.
Oh my god! And that he says all that in that monotone voice, and he's confident, almost to the point of cockiness.
Mm-hmm.
Almost, it is. He straddles that line so close and so fine. But I'm with you overall. I love it. And when it comes to energy, I put Neymar up there because I like him. And for me, the way I look at Robert, he is kind of the same thing as Messi, where like all around I like him.
Yeah.
But
he's not gonna be known as a goal scorer. He's just gonna be like that all around player that can do everything for you, which is what you need.
Like, right, and exactly that's why I'm saying. That's why I look at him like a Messi, where the way I look at him, he's a nice all around player, but he's not the best. That's Messi. And again, when it comes to scoring the ball, Ronaldo has done things that makes That should be impossible. And he just does it so effortlessly.
It's kind of funny that you bring those two up too, because Ronaldo's linked to joining Inter Miami with David Beckham next year in the MLS, and then Messi's also linked to LAFC to come to the MLS because Ibrahimovic did it, and a lot of these other European stars did it because they know, just for like a rating standpoint and money side of things, Ronaldo or Messi is going to end up in the MLS in the next couple of years. It's just a matter of, do they both come? Do one of them come? And if one of them land here, everybody else is going to follow.
It's going to open up the floodgates. Let's be honest here.
And that's exactly kind of why they hope one of them goes to Miami, because David Beckham is part owner there. Beckham was the thing. And David Beckham was the first one from like the European side of things that actually came here, established himself here, and now since he's done it, is when now you're starting to see the cycle where all these good European players are like, well, let me just go to the United States for a couple of years.
Yeah, Landon Donovan is also coming out saying good words, saying how like, hey, the European field's different, but here in the States, man, it's still nice. So it'll be very interesting to see where they go from here.
And Ronaldo does have a house in Miami, so it does make sense that he would join Inter Miami with Beckham over there.
That's what I think of all of them. I think Ronaldo's the more likely to go. Because I think he'll go to try to prove. Because as much as he doesn't want to admit it, he wants to prove he's better than Messi. Let's be fair here.
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean? It's kind of the same thing like Kevin Durant and for the LeBron James. Kevin Durant wants to prove he's better. He wants to prove it, right? So Ronaldo's gonna go to a place where has Messi never been. Oh, he's never been. I already got a house out there. Let me go here and then let me dominate. Because let's be fair here. I love MLS. You put Messi there, bro.
He's scoring 30 to 40 goals a year.
Yeah, and honestly, that would be a down year. Let that sink in. 30 to 40 goals a year is a down year for Ronaldo. And oh my God, it'll be crazy. It'll be wild. By the way, Anthony Price, I really want to hear everybody's input in this Eagles versus Tampa game. Sounds like a trap game. All of that, I assure you, we're going to break down every single game on Friday. So there's going to be, this weekend, there's going to be 6 games. On Friday, there's going to be 3 on Saturday, right? No, 2 Saturday, 4 Sunday. On Friday, we're going to break down every single game on how we believe it and all that stuff. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see where to go. Because honestly, him saying that the Eagles versus Tampa is a trap game, I don't think so. But
I think that's the main reason why everyone does think it's a trap game, because no one's giving Philly a chance.
That's true.
Same thing last year.
Why would we give Philly a chance? You see how bad the Cowboys destroyed them? I mean, I
wouldn't
give
look at last year with Washington, though. Nobody gave Washington a chance against Tampa last year, and Washington took Tampa to the brink last year with Heineke.
I agree.
And that's exactly why
I don't think
this game is the same thing.
I mean, it could be, because think about it.
Because Heineke and Jalen Hurts play the same way.
To an extent. And my thing is, we got to take into consideration. The Eagles were supposed to be 4th in their division. Mm-hmm. Now they're in the playoffs. Whatever happens from here, they don't care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they're just gonna play. They're gonna do my thing. They're gonna do their thing and go from there. Greg, before you dip out, I know you gotta leave.
Yes.
The MLB, them and the Players Association, they're expected to talk for the first time tomorrow to try to stop this whole lockout thing from happening. Do you believe that the end of the lockout is in sight, or do you think this meeting is going to go the same way like the first time, where everyone kind of went, how's the family? 30 minutes later, we're going to lunch.
It's going to be that. They're going to talk about the family, and then they're going to go to lunch. It's going to take a minute for them to agree on something. Hopefully it doesn't, mess up the start of the season, and they can, come up with something, before it's time for the season to start. But put my hope on it. Everybody's kind of, locked in their, stances. So I hope that eventually, as we come up on opening day, that they will get something done.
It's gonna be very interesting.
I got breaking news to report.
Real quick. Greg, I know you got a dip, so obviously, feel free. Go ahead. Thank you for being here, Greg.
Oh, yes.
You better be here tomorrow because if not, we will have a problem. So,
I will definitely be back tomorrow. Yes, sir.
All right, Greg, be safe, my guy.
All right, y'all.
All right. Dustin, you said you have breaking news? Talk to me.
Yep, the Rams have just signed former All-Pro safety Eric Weddle to replace Jordan Fuller, and Eric Weddle is officially available to play in the postseason.
Interesting. Wow. Interesting. So we're interested to see what happens with him. So, so the players and owners, Jay, today they're gonna have a bargaining session. They're supposed to be talking about the core economic issues that present the greatest challenge when it comes to negotiating a new collective bargaining agreement. Specifically, the league will be making a proposal that will at least obliquely address these matters. Long story short, the players are going to say, this is how we feel, and the league's going to say, shut up. This is what you're going to take, what you're going to get. And then they're all going to get mad, and they're all going to leave. Do you believe, Jay, that this lockout could potentially hamper the regular season for Major League Baseball?
No, I don't think so. I think financially, no owners want to lose money. I don't think anybody wants to lose money. I think it does affect, though. I think it affects training camps. I think if anything, I think it may linger into the training camp, but I don't think it goes into the regular season. And we have a pause. A very awkward pause. Pride.
My bad. I heard my kids in the background. My thing with this lockout, man, and again, Jay, maybe I'm bugging, right? Let me know if I'm wrong. I just feel like nobody, I don't want to say that nobody really cares, but it's just more along the lines of every single time they come to talk, right? It's always, look, let's give you the bare minimum to shut you up. And then it's like, it always ends where, okay, they solved it, but they only solved it for now. Basically, they put a Band-Aid on a wound that needs stitches. And eventually, the blood is going to get on the Band-Aid. It's going to take off all the adhesive. And eventually, the Band-Aid is going to fall off. And then you got to address it again. So maybe it's just me. Don't you think this should be the time? Because, again, it started on December 2nd, right?
Right.
They have time. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong. Don't you agree that maybe they should just say, you know what? What do you want? Let's figure all of this out. And then let's all address it all together so we can figure out a way where we can all just go our separate ways.
That would be the right thing to do, right? But you know, in business, it doesn't always work that way. I just don't. They're not going to let it look. Every CBA they've ever had or lockdown they've ever had in the baseball, it has always threatened the season, but they always get it done.
Yes.
But the last hour, these ass a-holes get it done. Somebody wants to say, you know what? Hey, look, we can't let this go into the season. We're going, like you said, pride. What you're talking about is going to happen. It's just going to happen at the very end.
Yes, that's it. Yeah,
and there's going to be a lot of downtime in between.
Yeah, it's just crazy, man.
That's the way it happened last time, and I don't see that being any different this time.
Yeah. So right now,
and I think part of that pride, part of it is what kind of financial compensation are they going to give for the minor leagues in terms of paying for their food? There's like lots of little incidental things.
They already agreed to a new system where the Major League Baseball is going to start paying for housing and
yes.
So at least they got that part out of the way.
Yeah.
And they don't have to worry about finding
this is all for on the MLB level.
Minor League Baseball can still operate as normal right now too. Like they don't have to follow the same rules as the Major League Baseball lockout. Minor leagues can sign people right now. They can do whatever they want to do.
All that stuff.
Yeah, because they don't have to follow this lockout because they're not the ones in the lockout.
Right.
So now that now that Major League Baseball has agreed to like pay for the housing and things like that, Minor League Baseball is pretty much set. They're just going to operate as normal, like everything's happening the way it's supposed to be, and they might be the ones that start the season on time.
Yeah, and then one of the main issues that they're going to address tomorrow. The average salary of the average player, right? The salary of the average player has declined However, the values of the actual franchises have been skyrocketing. They kind of want to understand, based more on the younger players. We want to get them paid more, but sooner.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also the whole tanking phenomenon that's happening. And quote, discussions will be taking place on how to address the tanking phenomenon and the status of the luxury tax on payrolls moving forward, i.e. whether the tax threshold should be raised and by how much. The owners are largely pleased with the status quo and will be resistant to any change that shift revenues to the labor side. Long story short, rich people are saying, don't take my money. And other people are saying, but we want it. Dustin, this lockout, Jim McLovin kind of touched on it a little bit. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this is kind of the assumption I was getting from you, Jay. And I agree with you. Another lockout, just another waste of time. Because eventually, the owners are going to do something where it's just enough to shut the players up. Do you think, how long, matter of fact, let me play this game with you. Let's say that the owners do the bare minimum. How long do you think that the collective bargaining agreement will stand for?
Honestly, I'm not in agreement with Jay on this. At this point, I don't think baseball starts this year. And the reason why I say that is this has been boiling over for 4 or 5 years now. Everyone knew that this was coming if something couldn't get worked out prior to CBA expiring. And instead of making any sort of progress over the past 5 years to where they could even extend the collective bargaining agreement out an extra year just to keep the talks going, every year it seems that the two sides are further and further apart. And that right there is the issue where you had 5 years to get semi on the same page. And yet over the last 5 years, you've gotten farther and farther apart to the point now whenever you guys do talk about anything, it's a pointless meeting because the owners and the commissioner have all these points that they want to make. The players union has these points that they want to make, and there's no middle ground. Nobody agrees with anybody. Unlike the previous lockouts that baseball has had in the past, this is the one lockout where I feel the players have the most leverage and the players have the ball in their court. Like you said, average player's salary is going down. But yet these players are smart enough to know that these franchises are making more money now than they have ever before. And the reason why these franchises are making the kind of money they're making now is because of the players and the product that's on the field. You look at the whole arbitration process for minor league baseball, like when you're signed as a rookie getting drafted, you have like a 4-year entry-level contract, which is what you standard get. But then you have an additional 3 years after that of arbitration where the team can basically financially cripple you to where they want to hold you for 7 years. So if you get drafted in high school or out of college at 22 years old, you cannot cash in until I shouldn't say that you can cash in, but some teams can hold you till 29 years old until you can cash in on that big free agent contract. And at 29 years
about it is that once you're 29, they will look at you funny.
And if you're 29 years old, you're not going to get a 7 or an 8 year deal from a lot of teams because you're going on 30. That's why all these players want to get rid of the whole arbitration process. And instead of having those 3 years of arbitration, they want to go 1 year of arbitration. That way the team only has control over you for 5 years. So even if you're drafted at 22, 23, well, now you're 27 and 28, and you can cash in on hopefully that 7-8 year deal that you might not go approaching 30. Say like Chris Bryant, they use as a prime example all the time. Back in 2015, the guy had 11 home runs in 20 spring training games. Everybody knew he was ready to come to the major leagues. Everybody knew that sending him down to the minors wasn't going to do anything for him. The Cubs sent him down to the minor leagues for 9 days just so they could get that extra year of arbitration on him and prevent him from hitting free agency a year sooner. Because of that, Chris Bryant's relationship with the Cubs over the last 4 years was very testy because he kind of held that against him, knowing that the only reason why you did this was to prevent me from getting paid a year sooner. And now they traded him away. They were never able to reach any sort of long-term discussions because Scott Boras really didn't want to talk to him. Yes, what the Cubs did was standard business practice because every team's going to do it. But that's part of the reason why the players want this whole arbitration process to go away because it's affecting them too. When you have a guy that is not going to, even need to go to the minor leagues anymore, there's no point to send them there to get that extra year of control.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's the thing about the lockout. Like you said, Dustin, and I said this to Jay. This is like every single time, we've had the threat of a lockout, it always kind of stops right before, because eventually the owners and players eventually just come to a little half-baked agreement where it's like you got a nasty cut on your leg. This is an analogy I told Jay McLovin. You got a nasty cut on your leg, right? And it's bleeding, right? You put a Band-Aid on it when you need stitches, right? You only put on it just enough, and eventually there's too much blood. The blood gets everywhere. Band-Aid comes off, and now you're screwed. So it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna keep my eye on this. I want to know where they go from here. If they make no type of advancements in the right direction, if there's no, all right, let's meet on this middle ground or anything like that, if they come out of this meeting the same way they came in, then I'm with you, Dustin. I wholeheartedly believe that this thing is never gonna. It's gonna stop. It's gonna potentially impact the season somehow.
Well, the other thing to keep an eye on too is baseball's the only sport where every contract is guaranteed.
Yes,
everything you sign is 100% guaranteed money, which I credit them for doing that. They play 162 games; they deserve it. The owners are trying to get rid of the guaranteed contract.
Yes.
Do you honestly think any baseball player is going to go for that?
No.
That's exactly why I don't see the season starting this year, because that's the one big thing the owners are trying to push right now. They're basically saying, if you want to get rid of this extra year of arbitration, we'll give it to you, but then we want to get rid of the guaranteed contracts in exchange for it. There is not a single baseball player in the world that's going to get rid of that guaranteed contract.
That's true. That's true. And we'll see how it goes from there.
Because if that's the case, Mike Trout's not getting $360 million anymore. Carlos Correa is not getting $300 million anymore. All these players aren't getting $300 million anymore. They're going to be getting a 10-year, $300 million contract with $170 million guaranteed. Yes, $170 million is still a lot of money, but you're leaving $130 million on the table in case something happens. There's not a single player in the world that's going to go for that when this is how it's been in baseball for like 30 years.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be very interesting to see how all of this ends up working out. Moving on to the final topic of the day, the NBA and the MLB want to expand. I guess they want to expand so that way they can put more teams in the playoffs. Oh, man. By the way, Alabama lost. I just want to throw that out there. I want to piss somebody off. I have no team in college football, but I just find it funny. Because like all these Alabama fans are like, oh my
I know.
God, I can't.
I love hearing crickets. No roll tide, no
but they're
nothing.
all. This is why I've always said when it comes to Alabama fans, I don't respect any of them, right? Because they love chirping, and they lose, and now it's Georgia's time to chirp, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, win with be humble about it. And it's like when you guys beat them earlier, you guys would never shut up about it. Now y'all lost, and now y'all want them to be humble, like.
And inevitably, they always have a laundry list of excuses for why things happen.
Every time.
Every damn time. Other than just taking the fact that you got your butts whooped.
Yeah, just be like, you know what? It is what it is. We lost. But nah, bro. They got to make it. Oh, well, it was because of the injury. So let me get this straight. So you tell me if Georgia had an injury and y'all won, y'all wouldn't tell me shut up about the injury? Come on, bro. I'm telling you, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Alabama
it's always a laundry list.
Bro, Alabama fans are just dumb as shit, bro. I mean that with all due disrespect, bro. All due disrespect, bro. Anthony Price says Cowboy fans the same way.
Hey, what's up with the head of the Cowboys fans? Listen, I have never made excuses. If we lose, we lose. It is what it is. I'm used to losing right now. I mean, it's been 20 some odd years since I've been in the Super Bowl. I mean, come on. But I'll say this: we are always competitive. We might not be in the Super Bowl, but we are always competitive. Except for last year. That's probably the only year that I will say that we did not have a competitive team. But we always put a competitive product on the field, regardless.
Oh man, but
Anthony Price, I can't believe you're talking about Cowboys fans the way you are.
So the last topic of the day, the NBA and the MLB, they kind of want to expand, right? They want more teams. Personally, it'll be kind of neat, but teach their own. Jay, first of all, the idea of the NBA and the MLB expanding and trying to have more teams. Do you like that idea or no?
I don't like it. I like it just the way that. I mean, what markets would we be expanding into?
Well, here, so
did they say any markets at all?
I'm gonna tell you right now. Well, they don't say what markets. They just say they want to expand.
Baseball actually has announced what markets they want.
So what markets then?
Montreal, which obviously makes sense because the Expos were there for so long, and then they moved them to Washington, so they kind of want to get that team back up there. And then it's between Nashville, Portland, and Charlotte for the other one.
I might understand maybe Nashville and maybe Portland. I don't know about Charlotte.
No way.
I don't know. I personally just like it the way it is. I don't think we need to expand, but
32 seems to be the magic number since the NFL did it. NHL just went to 32 by adding Vegas and Seattle.
Where's Major League Baseball at right now? Where are we?
30.
So 2 more teams.
So it'll be
maybe we go Nashville. I'll probably look at Nashville, Portland.
And then Major League Soccer went from 20 to 26 teams in the last 4 years. They're going to be at 29 teams by next year, and then Major League Soccer wants to get to 32 by 2026. So 32 seems to be the magic number for everybody. And then you look at the NBA. Well, Seattle's going to get another team if they want to expand.
I think Seattle should, and I would love to see them bring back the Sonics. Honestly,
the other market that makes sense for the NBA is Kansas City because they have the Sprint Center.
Yeah. I could do that. I would love to see Seattle get a team back.
Yeah, I was about to say, in Seattle, the only way it'll ever be accepted is if you go back to the Supersonics name.
And I think now that they have the hockey team up there and now that they redid that arena, I think it's a done deal. If NBA says, hey, we want to expand to 32, Seattle's going to put their application in. They're going to be accepted within 5 minutes.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just a matter of who gets the other one.
At this point, if the NBA were to say it, I think everyone else is just fighting for that second spot.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it'll have to be in the Eastern Conference.
Which is why I think Kansas City would be another option because then you could technically move Oklahoma City from the west to the east and put Kansas City in the west.
But then if you do that, then you're still
you'd have to do 4 divisions. You'd have to do 4 divisions of 8.
No. I'm just saying you would still be one off.
No. Yeah. If Seattle went to the west as team number Seattle, 31,
and then you're saying you're relocating.
No, if Kansas City came in as team number 32, you just take Oklahoma City from the Western Conference, move them to the east, and then you just stick Kansas City and Seattle in the west. That gives you your 32.
No, because you're moving a team. You're moving OKC.
No, Oklahoma City is just moving conferences. Oklahoma City stays as a team. Kansas City would come in as team number 32.
So OKC comes to the Eastern Conference, and then
Kansas City would go to the Western Conference and bump Oklahoma City to the east because Oklahoma City is more east than Kansas City is.
Okay.
Because Kansas City has a Sprint Center, which is always used for March Madness and used for all these other big college basketball.
Kansas City is a big market because you're pulling off of Kansas and Missouri.
Yes, and that'd be a prime spot. Missouri doesn't have an NBA team. I know St. Louis tried to get one a couple of years ago, but never got it done. That's why I think Kansas City makes sense in that side of things for the market.
Oh, absolutely, it does.
Yeah, and it would. And on top of that, you're also getting because the other.
I think Louisville and Tampa Bay are also options mainly because of COVID, because that's where Toronto went.
You said Louisville, yeah, and then you got the Dallas Mavericks, Houston Rockets, and San Antonio Spurs. For those people that are kind of like on the border,
that could be your division right there: Oklahoma, Dallas, San Antonio, and Houston. That could be your 4-team division right there.
Yeah,
they're all right there, and you put them there, and then you can have Memphis, New Orleans.
So here's the question:
and another one.
If you add more teams, you expand the playoffs too, or no?
No,
I wouldn't.
No, you just keep it the way it is now. The 1-8, 2-7, 3-6. Hockey does that. NBA does that, and if NFL would most likely add that 8th team to go with the same format. Baseball, I think, would be the only league that would alter it instead of having just the 4 teams in each side. I think I could see them going to 7 or 8 if they added it to expand. Otherwise, you're having 24 teams miss the playoffs and only 8 get in. I think baseball extends it a little bit. Just if they're going to add more teams, they're going to have to.
No, I would
because you're going to have 4 divisions on each side, so you're automatically going to have 4 division winners. Right now, you have the 3 division winners.
I would leave it to say nah. Again, I'm not. And this is just me with the playoffs. It's the playoffs. You got to earn it. This ain't a
no. But what I'm saying is for baseball though, you'd have your 4 division winners, which would automatically get in, And if baseball still wanted to go with that 2 wild card format, they're guaranteed to have 6 playoff teams. So they're going to have to expand regardless because they're going to have more divisions.
Nah, figure it out. I hate divisions. Never liked them. I think I never liked them, bro. I hated them, bro, because it's like, I don't care what division you're in. What's your record? That's just how I always looked at it. I mean, look, if do I want them to expand? Frankly, whether or not they expand, I don't really care, to be honest. But we'll see how it goes. Because again, it's gonna be interesting regardless. I believe, like I said, don't touch the playoffs. We got a question here. Why is it that all these leagues expand, but the NFL, they just want to move teams around instead of expanded? Well, the NFL is at 32, and 32 for the NFL is the sweet spot. That's kind of where they're looking at it, where this is enough where, we got enough teams. The playoffs are still kind of exciting. It's a sweet spot. So now that they saw that, everyone else is now trying to catch up to the 32. That's really kind of the difference between the NFL and everyone else. Since they already found that sweet spot in 32 and it's working for them, now all the other teams kind of want to do that. It's gonna be interesting. I'm interested to hear where the NBA wants to expand. I really want to. I want to hear that. I think that would be very.
Yeah, absolutely. I think where they expand to, would be interesting. Like I said, I like Portland and I like Nashville. I think those are 2 pretty good sized markets that deserve it. I don't like Montreal because they left Montreal to come down to DC. Why did they just stay in Montreal if that's the case? I mean,
and here's my thing. Well, and here's my thing with going back to Montreal. If they want to, sure, but they're close. They're about to close that border because of the whole COVID thing. So it's like, if you add one team now, the conferences are going to be a little off balance, so it'll be awkward for a while. So either A, they go and say, you know what, we'll just wait to do this, or B, they do a thing where they're like, you know what, it is what it is. We'll try to figure something out. Because what I would do, I would have the 2 teams in the States, and then after the whole entire COVID thing dies down, if they still want to go to Montreal, see who's going to relocate.
Right.
That's why I would do that way. The conferences are even. You're not shutting the door completely on going back to Montreal. And if you do go back to Montreal, depending on what team wants to move, you might have a relatively decent team up there. Because when you first start a team, every team in the league kind of has a few teams where they kind of just, you're not allowed to touch them. And you're kind of just, picking off the run. So, the run of the pile. So, it'll be interesting at the end of the day. I just hope they don't mess this one up, Jay. I just really don't.
Hey, there's no guarantees in this, man. You know that.
Right. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm worried. But that's enough for us. It's been ASAP in the morning. Jay, you got any final words for the people?
Hey, no final word really, other than hey, stop picking on the Dallas Cowboys so much. And Unscripted goes on tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please come by, leave us some comments, even if it's to call me an a-hole or say I don't know what I'm talking about. I appreciate that too.
Jay says he wants all the smoke.
All the smoke.
All of it. Can I say one thing real quick?
Yeah.
Everyone told me the Wizards were a problem. They went from 10-3 to 19-20. Done told y'all, but no one wants to listen. What a time to be alive. Jay, thank you for being on. T, Greg, Dustin, and Ron, thank you guys for being here. As always, it is your boy Pride. We'll be back here 10 Central. 10 Eastern, 9 Central. I always suck when it comes to the whole dates. With the
you are terrible at math and all that stuff in between.
Yeah, man. I don't know math. Like, what is math? But we'll be back to talk more sports. Until then, you guys know what to do. Be safe.
Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365 365, we making a plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.